It's not like we don't talk about it. You know, I keep trying to get David to just start thinking about doing something. But it's kind of a one-way conversation, if there is such a thing. I did let him know that I wouldn't want to be on life support if something happened and there was no hope. I also let him know that I didn't want to be a burden.
But you worry about that more than anything else. So do I. But were you definite about any of it, or was it just kind of said in passing? Sometimes you just have to spell it out.
Chapter and verse? No, I didn't. I guess I could have been more emphatic.
Well, did you talk about your wills? I mean, that was the most difficult thing for Jack and me to discuss.
Not so much. We haven't changed them since the kids were, well, kids. I want to redo them now that the kids are grown, and also take care of some other things too, so that it would be clear what each of us wants done, just in case if something happened. But I sense a strong pushback from David, and so I sort of back off. I think he doesn't want to deal with even the possibility that these things would ever come into play. So he sort of goes along with me, and I sort of back off. But I decided that sort of going along was enough of a go-ahead, so I started to look up all the information I could about this, because neither he nor I know anything about it.
You are just like you were in high school. You have not changed. You're always the one most prepared, the studious high achiever. You drove me nuts.
I couldn't help myself then, and I can't help myself now. If there's homework to be done, I do it. I wanted to know what goes into preparing these documents, where you put them, who gets notified if something happens, things like that. I kept saying to David, if something happens, someone is going to have to make decisions, simply because they have to be made. Not making a decision, that's a decision too. The least we can do is prepare so that a bad situation doesn't get any worse. You know Marion Kellogg. She and her husband just updated their wills, so I asked her about it, how they went about it. And she told me that her attorney had recommended some materials and websites to get the right information. So I got as much of it as I could, and I read it, and I'm going to call her and get her attorney's number. I'm going to make an appointment for me and David to go and see him. David may not be happy, but he'll go.
He better.
I think.
Ellie's husband, David, present in spirit in this play, if not in person, is absolutely right when he said making these decisions in these awkward times is extremely difficult, especially if you're in good health. It's very off-putting. But very off-putting or not, facing them and doing something about them is far better, because if you do it before the situation occurs, these vital documents are in place. And that's a great comfort in a time of great stress. So here's a sad and inherently difficult situation made even worse because good intentions were never turned into reality. They could have been, they should have been, but they weren't. So what could have been done differently? What if a person has not made out a living will or designated a medical power of attorney, but has told a friend that he or she did not want to be kept alive on life support? Is that admissible in court? Would it be controlling? And do people generally make out a living will or designate a medical power of attorney when crafting their wills? And are those documents normally kept together? What resources are available for those who want to learn more about living wills and medical powers of attorney?
What if a person has not made out a living will or designated a medical power of attorney, but has told a friend what their wishes are and that they do not want to be on life support? Those circumstances are difficult, and we all heard about those circumstances when we heard about the Terry Schiavo case. In that situation, there were disputes about what Terry Schiavo wanted and who she had told what. In those situations, where there has been a conversation, and it's just been a conversation, that information can be considered to determine the person's wishes, but it won't necessarily lead to a decision that would be that person's wishes. That's why it is so important to make a living will and to have a durable power of attorney for healthcare and identify who will make those decisions for you.
Generally, when you do your estate plan, you also do an advance directive. The advance directive is included in your estate planning documents. But what is a living will if it's not living? And I think it's critical that you share that living will with your loved ones, with your healthcare providers. There are many resources available for you to execute these documents. Nathan is going to share with us some of those resources.
The American Health Lawyers Association has produced a wonderful guide to help you work through these issues. It's called A Guide to Legal Issues in Life-Limiting Conditions. This guide provides information for both you and your healthcare decision maker. It provides resources on healthcare settings, as well as discussions about specific types of care at the end of life. Other resources are available generally on the internet that you can find with a basic search. Additionally, lawyers can always help you with these advanced directives. In addition to this, we encourage you to take action. We encourage you to participate in National Healthcare Decisions Day or the state and local activities that may be occurring in your area. Ask for programs like this at your place of worship, in the civic groups in which you participate, and other organizations. Most importantly, please share what you've learned today with your family and your friends, and be sure that they execute their advanced directives as well.